Hi, this is Vicki Robinson. Everywhere I look, Facebook, Pinterest, everywhere online, even the craft store I was in the other day, everybody's talking about planners, physical planners to, I don't know, maybe organize the coming year. I'm not really sure why the craze has taken on, but everywhere I look, I'm seeing that. And I'm also seeing that digital designers are now including printable sheets in their kits or sometimes separately, full of stickers or labels or what have you, whatever goes into a physical planner. And I'm thinking, that's a really cute idea. I really like that idea. Although I have to tell you, I'm not a physical planner girl. I'm a digital girl. I love my iOS devices. My iPhone is never far from me. I'm attached to the hip to my iPad. I'm a Mac girl. So my calendars, my to-dos, all my project plans, my design ideas, all sorts of things like that, my marketing list, everything is on my computer and synced to all of my devices. So I'm not really one of those that's likely to use a physical planner for those purposes. I don't know. I just am so in love with the idea, though. I have to figure out how to incorporate this in my life. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. But it did occur to me that I do keep lists by my computer. I have several notepads, probably like we all do, and I write down quotes I come across during the day that appeal to me. Sometimes song phrases have some special meaning, and I jot that down. If I'm out on a walk, I'm likely to bring back one of the beautiful fall color leaves that I find laying around, or I tend to keep little bits of stuff and really don't do anything with them unless I incorporate them in my mixed media art. So it occurred to me, who the heck says a planner has to be, a day to day, I went to the doctor today and stubbed my toe and had 3 cups of coffee kind of thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be anything I want it to be. So, like I said, I'll figure it out. I'm not really sure. But that led me to think about these printable sheets that designers are providing and how easy it is to actually cut them out and use them in a planner. So it got me thinking, Studio Maya, Scrapbook Graphics, our illustrious owner, has just released a sheet of stickers. I think these are called quirky planner stickers. They are just friggin' adorable. She provides them in 2 forms. One with these cute little sayings, these vintage images with cute little sayings, and then a set without. And realistically, this is easy to cut. Whether you have a cutting machine or a paper trimmer or just scissors, horizontal and vertical lines, really nothing could be easier. And then you just stick these little puppies into your planner and you're all set. But what happens if you want to print something a little bit more or cut something a little bit more complicated? For instance, I've been planning on doing this little sticker sheet, making it a freebie for my newsletter subscribers. It coordinates with my In the Air kit, and as you can see, that becomes a little bit more complicated because the cut edges are uneven, just a little bit more complicated to cut. Of course, you could use scissors, and it's really meant for you to use scissors for. And if you cut around just outside the edges and leave a little white border, you're going to get a nice sticker effect. But what if you wanted to do something a little more specific to the actual shape? And then it hit me. It was like, duh, I have a silhouette machine. And that's exactly what the silhouette machine is for. It's for cutting. So what I thought I would do is show you how you can, if you have a silhouette machine, can use these documents, these printable files that the designers are providing in your silhouette, and then cut out your own stickers much more precisely. So let me go ahead over into my studio software, Designer Studio software, for the silhouette, and show you how that's done. So as you can see, I'm in my Silhouette Studio software. I happen to use the Designer Edition, but this will work in the regular edition as well. Now, to print these stickers out, we need to do a 2-step process. First, we actually have to print the stickers onto whatever media we like. In my case, I'm going to be using cardstock. And then once we've done that, we're going to put the printed page through the silhouette to cut. So a couple of steps here, but they're actually really easy, and I promise you won't have any problems with them. So first, I have a new document open here. It's important that we make sure that the page settings fit the kind of paper that you're going to be using. So you can come to the View menu and go to Show Design Page Settings, which is over here on the right. And as you can see, I've got mine set to 8.5 by 11 portrait orientation. which you can see here. I also leave the defaults on of show the print border and the cut border, so I have a good idea of that what I'm doing and placing on here is actually going to work. The next thing we need to do is open up the file I want to work with. So File, Open, and I have a Ping cut sheet that goes with my new In the Air kit that I just released. So say OK. And as you can see, it places it right here pretty much in the center. Now what we need to do is we need to put some registration marks on this document so when we go through the cutting machine, it knows exactly how to align for cutting purposes. So I'm going to come over here to this little icon over here. It's the little four corners in the tiny little icons. They're really hard to see, but what we're really looking for is the little four corners here. And actually you can also find the registration marks under the Silhouette menu registration marks. That'll open up this dialog box where we actually have to turn the registration marks on, tell it that we definitely want that to be on, and it's going to ask you, for me, it's asking me for what system I'm going to use, and I'm going to say the Type 1, the Cameo Portrait, because that's what I have. And as you can see, it's put a little black square in the upper left-hand corner, some lines here on the right, and then down here on the left side of the page. That is the registration area. Those marks are what the Silhouette is going to use to know that your file, your cutting mat, is aligned properly. You need to make sure that your images don't extend beyond the red boundaries of these registration marks, and which mine is doing. So I'm just going to click on the image to activate it, and then using the corner handle I'm just going to scale this down and move the image around till everything is inside the red lines. Now these little hashtags here, it's okay if your image is overlapping that. You just want to make sure that everything is inside the red lines. Okay, and everything's all set. And so now what we want to do is we want to go and tell it what it is we're going to trace. So we're going to look for the, this is, I don't know, it's a little green square on mine and inside of a big square, or maybe that's a rectangle. If you hover over these icons though, it will pop up and the tooltip will tell you what it is that you're looking at here. So I'm going to go click on Trace, open the Trace window, and the first thing it's going to ask me is what I want to trace. I'm going to collect here, select Trace Area. Now I'm going to click and drag from the beginning of my image down, covering every area that I want to trace. Now you see that I didn't quite get that little leaf there, but that's okay, we can fix that. So I'm going to drag it here, and then I'm also going to drag this over a little bit. So now my image is completely covered. I'm telling the Silhouette what I want to trace. You'll notice though that this is kind of wonky. I'm not getting all these images in here, and that's because of this silly thing called the high pass filter. Honestly, I'm not sure what it's for, and all the tutorials I read said just turn it off. So when I turn that off, you can see that the tracing has done a better job of trying to isolate what it is we're going to trace. Hasn't caught everything though. So the way we fix that is come down to threshold and move that all the way up to 100%. And as you can see now, all of these objects are fully filled in with yellow. That's exactly what we're looking for. The second thing we need to do is change this scale. Mine defaults to 10. It has to do with the sharpness of this edge that it's going to find, but I want this down to 4. I found that this actually works best. So once I've done that, I've got my threshold at 100, I've got my scale down to 4, and I've turned off my high pass filter. I need to tell the machine exactly what it is to trace, and in this case I'm just going to click on Trace. And it's probably hard for you to see. Maybe if I zoom in to like 150%, maybe you can see these little red lines here indicating that's what's going to trace. So now we're ready to actually print. Remember, we're going to print this first so that our the print that we make has the registration marks. Come up to the File menu and say Print. This is where on your printer these settings will
depend on what your printer can do. But in my HP, I need to come and tell it that my paper quality, I'm using, I said cardstock, I'm actually going to be using HP Premium Presentation Paper, the matte, because I like the way that that works. And I'm going to choose that one. And then I'm going to set my quality, it defaults to normal, but I'm going to change mine to best. And then go ahead and send that to the printer.
Once it's finished printing, attach the page to your cutting mat, load it into the Silhouette, and then let's go back to the software.
Once you're all ready, then you come over to your cutting settings, and mine is set to standard. I'm going to say cut edge, and then choose the paper that you're printing at. I told you I'm using the presentation paper, but there's no setting I could find for that. I just use the cardstock setting. Now I'm going to show you the settings I normally keep my Silhouette set to pretty much no matter what it is I'm cutting, whether it's cardstock or even copy paper. I just find that this works best for me. You probably know your machine better than I do and your blades, but I always set my blade to 3 and my speed is set to 3 and then my thickness is set to 33. For what I'm cutting, I don't need to do a double cut on that. So that's really all you need to do. You're going to go ahead and send that to the Silhouette for cutting. And as you can see, it'll take a moment, but the Silhouette will detect your registration marks, and sometimes it can take a couple of seconds to do that. And then once it has done that, it will begin cutting.
Here's a look at my finished product with all my little elements cut out. As you can see, very nicely defined edges, all ready for you to use in your planner or any other hybrid project that you want to use. Oh, and as a special bonus, if you're a mixed media person, look what you get. After you've punched out all your little stickers here, you get a really cool little stencil that you can use in your work. Unexpected happy ending, huh? Well, I hope that tutorial helped you a little bit. I hope you thought it was a pretty easy process to cut out these sheets using your Silhouette. And if you're interested in starting a planner or would like some ideas or share your ideas about starting a physical planner or even a digital planner for the coming year, Studio Graphics has started a Artful Planner Club on Facebook. So just search for that and click request to join. Would really love to have you. We're interested in everybody's ideas about planners and how they're using them and how they're incorporating them into a more artful, thoughtful life. So we hope to see you there. Thanks so much.